Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Spotlight on Laurel, Her History and Her People, an interview series that takes pride in showcasing the fine citizens of London, Kentucky. It's presented weekly on WJTE LPFM98.5, The Light of London, by the Sentinel-Echo and the Video Guy. And today we're just as pleased as punch to have with us Imogene Bowling. Imogene, to this day, she's Laurel County's only female jailer, I believe. The only one that's ever served in that capacity.
The only one I ever know of.
Yeah, me too. But Imogene, it's so good to see you and good to be here in your home.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, brings back memories for me. You know, we've lifelong friends. But Imogene, let's start with your roots. Now, tell us about your parents and your early childhood and what things were kind of like then at that time.
Well, things were rough back then, but I had a really good mother and daddy, church-going people, and they had 11 children. The oldest one passed away at 2 weeks old, and then there were 3 boys and 7 girls.
Yeah.
And, of course, we all married, you know, in later years, but growing up, we helped on the farm. We milked the cows, fed the chickens, fed the pigs.
Yeah.
Helped Daddy do everything.
And that's just what everyone did at that time.
Yeah, and he was a well driller, so how he made a living, drill wells and farm.
Yeah, yeah.
And
native Laurel Countyans, right? You all were Laurel County.
Yeah, we were raised out there where the new Wine Pine School is.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
And that was our farm. And but they were a big family of us. But, you know, a lot of people back then, I feared say that they didn't have enough to eat and stuff when they were young.
Right.
But we always had food to eat. Mommy and Daddy raised a garden and they killed hogs and had chickens and stuff. And we always had plenty to eat.
And those were good days because
they were good days.
Yeah.
We didn't have no electricity.
Is that right?
And we had the outside toilet and draw our water.
Yeah. But everyone was happy.
Everybody was happy. We washed our clothes on the board.
Those are things that are so much taken for granted these days. If you take them away from folks these days, they wouldn't know what to do. But you all grew up in those times when...
We grew up and helped do all that stuff. Mommy made homemade soap to wash her clothes with, and us kids all helped with the cooking and washing dishes. And
yes.
Got along good, us kids did.
You had to be a constructive thinker, thinking ahead all the time, making soap, growing your own food, and things like that to really survive.
Yeah.
But not only survive, but you all thrived. You know, you didn't have too much, but you had enough.
Had enough.
Yeah. And love takes you a long ways. Yeah. Love for each other.
We walked to school. It was a mile or maybe a little more.
Yeah.
We walked to school. And some of us finished 8th grade and some didn't. We didn't nearing go to high school.
Oh, is that right?
Not a one of us got to go to high school.
That was kind of the norm in those days, though, wasn't it? That was kind of normal in those days.
For country people.
Yeah. Well, tell us about some of the changes that you've seen in general in Laurel County and London down through the years.
I remember back when if you went to London, you had to walk to London. We lived 4 miles out. And I remember when there wasn't many cars on the road.
Horse and buggies, though. There were some horse and buggies.
Horse and buggies.
They shared the road with cars.
And the roads wasn't even gravel, part of them.
There's dirt.
Yeah, dirt roads.
Yeah. So, were there more horse and buggies than there were cars?
Well, no, I don't think so.
Most people walked.
Yeah, most people walked. And my daddy didn't have a car. He walked to go drill wells all over this county.
Is that right?
And
he worked a living without a car.
Yeah.
Raised 10 kids.
For years he did, and he finally got a car.
Yeah.
It was a model or T model or something. Had, the front seats and one little back seat in the rumble.
Yeah. That was a big deal too when he got that car. You know,
Yeah.
boy, that was something. Yeah. What about that?
And we were all tickled with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'd have to push it off to start it. One time, one of my sisters got hung behind the little bumper thing. Well, another one run down in front of Daddy and got him stopped. She didn't get hurt, but she could have been killed.
She saved your other sister's life.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
What about that? Those are things you will always remember those.
Don't forget stuff like that.
No, you don't. You sure don't. No. So let's talk about when you met the man. Which you were married. You had kids, but
yeah,
we're going to
I
talk
married
about
Joe
Big John
Gregory Jr. was
Okay,
my
Joe
first
Gregory.
husband.
Okay.
And he worked for T.C. Young Construction Company out of Williamsburg. He was working on the interstate at La Follette, Tennessee when he died. Well, he was on his way home from work, and he had aneurysm, brain aneurysm is
Okay.
what they said happened. He wasn't cut up and stuff, but he wrecked his car and went over an embankment and was dead.
Right. Right.
So I had 3 children.
They were relatively young then.
Yeah, I was 26, he was 27.
Okay.
And Barbara Wells now
Right.
was 7-year-old. Joyce Parker,
Yes.
she was my daughter, and she was 4-year-old. And Gerald Gregory, he was 2-year-old.
Okay.
So I didn't know which way to turn, you know.
No, you were devastated. Yeah, what a shock that was. And your husband died at a young age. How old was Joe?
27.
27.
He
Okay,
was
you
27.
said that a while ago. Yeah.
And so I stayed a widow for over 5 years. I didn't date anybody. I just hovered around my kids.
Right. Right.
And my dad died, though, 6 months later with a heart attack.
Okay. So that was really
same
rough.
year, 1964 is when all this happened.
Okay. That was a rough patch then for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Mom come to live by me about a year later, and she lived by me in a trailer and helped me with the kids. And
Yeah.
then everywhere we would move, she'd move, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We'd move a trailer. So we got along good. And so John got coming in the store at Piney Grove Hoskins Grocery where I worked.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know right where that is. Yeah. Yeah.
he come in there for a year, I guess. Well, I wouldn't hardly even talk to him, you know. I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
And so it went on, and Bobby Medley was our pastor at Pine Grove Holiness Church.
Okay.
And Bobby invited him to our homecoming at church.
Okay.
And he come and he said, if I knew who made that macaroni salad, said I'd marry them. Bobby said, come here, I'll show you.
That's good. And Bobby was a character too. Now
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories we could keep going on and on
Yeah.
about Bobby. Yeah, I remember him really.
And
well.
so anyway, I finally went out with John, and we married soon, but he was really good to me and to the kids
Yes.
and my mother.
Yeah, because he wasn't just marrying you. He embraced
He got a whole family.
your right, but he treated them just like his own. And,
Yeah, he did.
And your youngest two probably don't even remember their dad. I'm sure at
No.
2 years old, Gerald.
Barbara can remember pretty
some,
good, but Gerald don't. Joyce can remember a little thing
bit.
or two.
Yeah, but Gerald don't have
Gerald
any.
don't remember.
John's essentially the only dad he ever knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So John, he buys them a bicycle, you know. Get in with them, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So anyway,
What was his nickname? Big John already.
Big
Was it-
John's what they called him
Okay,
when
all
I
right.
met him.
Okay, all right.
And so anyway, he was, you know, John was a good fella.
Oh yeah.
I always told him he was God sent.
I think he thought the same of you.
Probably.
I knew both of you, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what that was his opinion of you too. But now, Big John, the most popular politician to ever grace these parts. He was just
people liked him, and he was good to people. We had it.
He was good to people.
Jail. He was good to people, and we fed them good. And
his
he
heart
always
was
says
big.
better to feed them good and treat them good than it was to fight with them.
that was his motto.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lived by that. But he just had Big John was a big fellow, but he did everything big.
Yeah.
He did everything he did big.
Yeah.
And he had a big heart. That's the main thing.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. But let me ask you something. How did you all? Those early elections? Those were just. There weren't any rules. I mean, you could politic right outside the polling places. I remember holding signs for people when I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
They would pay me to hold signs up and stuff, But they've since outlawed the posters,
Mm-hmm.
But how in the world did Big John get a poster of his face on every telephone pole and tree in Laurel County? Because Big John, you was not going to outdo Big John, no way. And folks can remember back to those days. Big John knew how to.
Well,
he
would,
knew how to do it.
Find somebody that wanted to help and take them out and let them put the posters up for him. And he did. He had posters on every pole about it.
Yeah, he did.
And,
I remember that very well. I really do. But so now Big John, how many terms did he serve, Jailer?
He was elected 3 times, and I pulled his last 15 and a half months. Johnny Lewis, the county judge, appointed me, and I finished his last 15 and a half months because he had a heart attack and got, sick and wasn't able. So
Okay.
I finished it. Several people wanted me to run, but I didn't want to. John was sick, and I didn't want to.
Yeah.
And my mother lived with us, and I didn't, just come home.
Right.
So,
Well, let's go back and pick up Tammy Jo.
yeah.
Because we haven't got her, so Tammy, you get married, John, and he takes your family in, and then all at once, there's another family member on the way.
Yeah, Tammy Jo, and she's actually never left home. She's married, but she lives upstairs and I live down.
Yeah.
And she's always been here with me. And so, we enjoyed Tammy a lot. And Tammy's a whole lot like John. She cuts up. And
she's got that big personality.
Wants to tell everything about like John did. She talks a lot.
She has that big personality.
She loves people. Tammy does. She loves people.
She sure does. Yeah, I always love seeing her, and she wants to talk about old times, which I do too. But we went to church with y'all for a
long time, several years. I don't know now how many years, but we went to church together for years.
And we vacation and do things together,
Yes.
And I remember, and Beach still tells the story about Big John down in Daytona Beach, seeing him across the street one morning. I guess he had him probably a 20 or something. Said, "You go get a dozen donuts and two gallon of milk. 2 gallon. That's the way Big John. 2 gallon of milk." And he said, "Whatever left," he said, that be for Big John.
Yeah.
That be for Big John, and whatever you take whatever left and get you something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he likes to tell that, but that's Big John. He could eat a lot and drink a lot of milk, couldn't he?
Yes, he did. He liked to eat.
I remember that about him. I mean, man, he could put them, especially loved milk, But there's another tale on him, and you can't talk about Big John without telling tales that you've heard down through the years, where he didn't have a whole lot, and some of these you could probably straighten out too if they're not right. But he didn't have much money. He went to a truck stop, and I guess he was trucking or whatever he was doing. But this was back in, and of course, if you didn't know, if this is all new to you, Big John had a speech impediment,
Yeah.
and I love to hear him talk, but he didn't have enough money for just certain items on the menu that at that particular point in time. You didn't have credit cards and debit cards and what cash you had, And Big John loved to eat. Well, he looked at the menu. He only had enough for a cheeseburger, and at this particular time, so he ordered that. He told the waitress, he said, "I want the T-bar." That's how She brought him a big piping hot T-bone steak because she thought that's what he's saying. Well, he saw that there and he couldn't pass that up. Now I don't know if you've heard this, but they tell this on him. He couldn't pass that up, so I reckon that he went ahead and ate that steak. And he sat for, they said, and people stretch things, but several hours.
Yeah.
He sat there till somebody came in that he knew to help him pay for that T-bone steak that he ate, because that waitress couldn't know. And there's another classic story. He's trying to get through on the operator, and he's trying to say 606-864, and he keeps saying Twix. Yeah. Twix, and she thought he was playing a prank on her, the operator did. And he said, "No, ma'am, no." And he just kept begging with her, pleading with her to keep him on the line, He said, "Well, what?" He said, "I'm put it to you this way. What if you had 3 apples? You put 3 with it. How many would you have?" She said, 6. He said, "Yeah, Twix." Twix. There's so many good tales on him. There's one, and we won't go into. There's one, and some of them may be true, some of them not, but he was with somebody else that couldn't talk plain. I don't remember who it was. There's people out there watching this that will recall this, but they was both in a car and neither one of them could talk plain, and they get pulled over by a policeman who also couldn't talk plain. And he thought they was making fun of him. He said, "No, who tell him? And the other one, and so they was in a real mess with that police officer because he thought they was making fun of him, But there's so many good tales on. He was just he loved people. He loved to talk to people, like you said, and he was just a fun-loving, loved to laugh. Didn't take himself too seriously.
Yeah.
But he did take his job very seriously.
Yes, he did.
He took pride in that jail.
Yes, he did.
The first term that he served, what year was that?
78.
Okay, that's when he went in. Mm-hmm. So he won the 77 election and went in 78.
Won the 77 election.
77, then he won 81, and then he won in 85, so 3 terms, and then that's when he started. So his health started failing him in the late 80s. Mm-hmm. Okay, the mid to late 80s. Yeah. And obviously it wasn't, the cards weren't on the table for him to run again with his health, right?
Yeah, he had the heart attack, and then a little later he had colon cancer, and he pulled through that. Yeah. And he was never well anymore, so.
Well, no, but that's the colon cancer part. Well, I guess all of that, the illnesses, but they served one purpose. He lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, he did. He lost, well, actually, he weighed 400 and something pounds, and he lost down to 250. Yeah,
which looking at him was a huge difference.
Yeah,
that was a big difference. But so let me get my notes out here. So the lights on the jail now. You guys, you took the jail over in 78, and of course you were the kitchen. You hired the kitchen staff and took care of all the, and that's legendary because everyone who knows of those times, thank God I was never in jail, but everyone who knows of those times knows that they had better meals at the jail than a lot of them did, than most of them probably did at home, due to you.
Yeah, well, I cooked up there for a long time. They wasn't money then to actually hire nobody, and I cooked, and didn't even get paid for some time. I don't remember how long now, but
right.
Then we got to keeping people from other jails and getting paid for that. And I went on the payroll then. So
now that jail.
But I cooked a lot of meals up there, and just on my own. And they eat as good as we eat at home, really.
One thing that a lot of folks don't know, what we call the old jail now,
Yeah.
was actually fairly new jail when you guys took office.
Yeah,
That
I don't
jail went
remember.
up in the mid-'70s, I think, sometime.
I don't remember just actually when, but it was maybe 3-year-old or something. I really don't know for sure.
Right. But you guys decided, whose idea were the Christmas lights?
John's. He put his own pole up, paid his own electric bill, and had the Christmas lights. And
See, that drew
people enjoyed them.
Nobody talked about, back then, you didn't think about tourism or this and that, but that drew people in here from all over just to see those lights.
Yeah, they were lined up every night to see the lights, and people still talks about it.
Yes.
When there's a kid that they come to the jail to see the lights.
It made a lot of kids' Christmases, really. I mean, the
and
kids
he would
who were
always
less
give out
fortunate
candy for Christmas.
He gave out candy when he was running for office a lot, too.
He did, and he
did everything big.
Went to the schools back then. He went in every school around here and gave out the kids candy.
Now, who can vote against a guy like that, though? You know what I mean? No wonder.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about Big John. When he won those elections, he didn't just win. He pulverized his opponents.
Yeah, he always went in big.
Always won big, yeah. Mm-hmm. He got the vote counts back then. Of course, the population has increased so much, but his vote counts were unbelievable. Yeah. When you'd see the vote count come in, you were like, wow,
yeah.
And it's a testament to the kind of guy that he was.
Yeah.
What made him want to run for jailer?
Well, he had to be away from home a lot. He hauled piggyback trucks to Florida and to the GMC dealer down there. And he'd have to go to Michigan to pick them up and haul them down there. And sometimes he'd have 8 or 10 truckloads at home to take down. And, he had to hurry people to take them.
Yeah, that's
and he I guess, kind of got tired of being away so much. And he got to wanting to run for jailer. And so he went and talked to Chester Scoville.
Yeah, who was the jailer president.
He was the present jailer. And Chester said, John said, I want to run one more time. But said, then I'll help you. If you want to run, I'll help you. Said, you can come up here and work for me.
Okay.
And said, I'll be for you. So John went the last year Chester was there and worked for him and learn everything, I guess.
Yeah.
And so he just went in there and won it big.
Yeah.
And that's pretty well the way of Joyce. She's always winning good. She's
Joyce does.
Big.
She does. Joyce does. Yeah. She goes in big. So now you were the only female jailer that we've ever had. We established that earlier, but what you were used to things, but what was that? I mean, because you'd been around that so much with him, but being a female jailer has a different ring to it than being a female, PVA or clerk or something like that. It's you're dealing with law enforcement issues, and so it's a little bit different for a female. Even though you were used to it, how was your stint there? And I know you had a good advice columnist there in Big John. You could ask him whatever was happening.
Well, I had been there ever since day one, but still it was different when it was all on you.
That's what I'm asking
yourself, all on your shoulder. But
you did a really
John
good job with that.
Was sick, but he would come up there and sit, and if I needed an answer, he would tell me what to do.
Right.
But they was good for me. I think they enjoyed me, and we enjoyed our employees. I know J. Bird Chadwell worked for us by all the time we was up there, and I met him the other day in the doctor's office, and he said the happiest time of his life was when he got to work at the jail.
Is that right? What about that?
Yeah, so people liked to work up there. We was good to the employees, same as we were the people. And I'll meet people out still yet, and they'll say, you remember me? And one boy that goes to church with us, he said, "I'm Gene. I've been able to tell you this for a long time." He said, "Do you remember back," he told me what year, me being in jail. And I said, "No, I didn't." And he said, "Well," said, "I got in jail for a little something other," and said, didn't amount to too much, but said, "I didn't have the money to get out. I like $5, have enough money to get out." And said Big John pulled it out of his pocket, said, "Here, you can have it." He said, "I'll bring it back." And he said, "No," said, "You just go ahead." And he said, "I've never forgot that."
That's how he prospered. Yeah. You all don't realize, but I do, the influence that you had on the kind of people who needed some positive influence and reinforcement in their lives. And you made an impact. And we'll only know when we get to heaven what you actually, both of you, you and John both, what you did for people that needed it at the time. When you're in jail, that's about as low as you can get. Somebody being good to you can. I imagine now that can. I've been in low places, but as I said, I've never done any time. But that can trickle the old heartstrings.
And
change you
back
for the better.
then, we didn't have no canteen thing there. We had pop they would buy, and had a machine they would buy all of, and but John never would take anything for it. He said, "All I want is on the holidays, I want to be able to give the boys and girls a pop, and I want to be able to give them a pack of cigarettes if they want them." And that's how we worked it. And back then, there wasn't a real lot in jail, less than 100 about all the time. And I would go to the store and pick up their necessary things, and they would write it down, send me down a note, and I'd go to the store and get what they needed and bring it back to them.
Yeah, things are so much different now. Yeah, it's so much different now. Sometimes I think those simpler times were better times.
Of course, they couldn't do that now. There's too many up there.
Oh, yeah, it's quadrupled and even more than that, on down the line. Yeah, we've outgrown jails very quickly, comparatively speaking. Not comparatively speaking to other communities, but to other buildings and institutions that we have here in Laurel County. But so now, John, you guys retire. John has some good years. He loses all that weight, and he's been through heart disease and cancer, and you have some good retirement years.
Oh yes,
yeah. And I would run into John, you all from time to time, and we can elaborate too on when we went to church together and all that stuff. But there's so much. But John, then he passes away 5 years ago.
5 years ago, the 29th of March that year.
Okay, so around Easter.
Yeah, it was Easter Sunday.
He died on Easter Sunday. It seemed like I remember that. But life after Big John, Imogene, I mean, you were married to such a big personality with a big heart, which his heart wasn't any bigger than yours. I mean, you guys smashed, but that's tough to lose a man like that. He's given you a child, but he's also embraced your own family, and you all at once you're a widow again.
Yes.
And so life after Big John.
Well, I've always stayed in church. I've never been out of church in my life. And I go to church. I still drive. I go to the grocery store, and I drive to church and to see my sisters and stuff like that. Yeah. And but the biggest part, I'm doing good, I think.
Yeah, you are. Well, and and that's how John would want it. But then you have hope of seeing him again and all that stuff. But you've went on and done really well.
Yes, I have. I've done good.
Yeah, and tell us about this one over here a little bit. Now we've not talked about her, but she's part of the family too. So
yeah,
she's not on camera. Come over here and let us see you here, because I want folks to know this is going to show what kind of person you are. You and Big John. So let's talk about her. We're going to close here in just a minute.
This is Tony Mancini.
Yeah, I know Tony. I've known Tony a long time.
And we've had Tony for 44 years in Vedder.
44 years.
Yeah. She come here 44 years ago, the 21st of April.
Okay.
And she's never been in the hospital.
Wow.
She's 65-year-old.
Okay.
And she goes to church right along with me. And she's so crazy over Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
Ball games. She's all Kentucky.
You all made her life.
And we've enjoyed Tony. Her mother had passed away, and we brought her home with us, and we've had her ever since. And we'll keep her on long as she lives or we do.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But
she's definitely part of the family.
Tony can't hear very good, and she can't talk very good, but
it shows
she goes everywhere I do.
That's right, I know that. Yeah. She couldn't do without you. All the love there. You know, it's a
we
great
love
bond.
Tony just like one of the kids. And,
I know you do.
And the kids are all crazy over Tony.
I know.
She's just like she's their real sister.
Yeah, we couldn't do this without mentioning her. But I tell you, Imogene, it's been a blessing to talk to you today. It's been a blessing to be in your home.
It's been a blessing to talk to you.
I really appreciate you so much. And I appreciate y'all. It's a good opportunity for me to just tell you that I appreciate y'all down through the years. My family, you know, and
we always thought so much of Vic and Jewel and all the Williamses.
Yeah. We
CA, all of them. We loved them all.
Mama's the last one. And of course, Jesse's the last one of her generation. And then Mama is the last one of those kids, you know, my mother. But yeah, and you know, you miss those kind of people in your life. They're so big in your life.
Yes.
And like John was in yours. But I appreciate that, and we have hope of seeing them again. So,
yes, we do.
So,
really do.
Yeah. But I tell you, I think the best thing for me, the way to close this is with the old scripture from the Bible. That you all have lived your life by the golden rule of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You've lived a blessed life because of that. And for that, I thank you.
That's right. We've been blessed. We've had ups and downs, but we've been blessed all down through life.
Yes, I agree.
Had a lot more blessings than anything else.
That's right. That's what it's all about. Thank you, Imogene.